Yaqub, whom police believe is still on the run.
Hotels in areas that have prime viewing of tomorrow's solar eclipse booked long ago. But CBS's Jamie Yucas says NASA will help you watch it from the comfort of your very own home.
The lines to get into Solar Town in Madras, Oregon appear infinite.
There you go.
And this campsite is sold out. All 50 states and 39 countries are represented at the two largest converted campgrounds in Madras this weekend. It's all to witness history. Over at the airport, NASA scientists are doing run-throughs of their web show. So if you can't be in Madras, you can still enjoy the eclipse online.
We're going to be webcasting it to the entire world. We expect actually an audience of tens of millions of people.
For the thousands assembled in Madras, the sky's the limit.
This is CBS News.
I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch, where you can get the world's most comfortable sheets for less than half of what you'd pay in the store. Our sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and get softer over time. Even 3 U.S. presidents have Boll & Branch sheets. Try them for 30 nights. If you don't love them, send them back for a full refund. Go to bollandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping with promo code SLEEP. Spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. That's bollandbranch.com, promo code SLEEP.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad but don't know where to start? Hi, I'm Jen London with The Place for Mom. Nobody knows your parent or loved one better than you, and nobody knows senior living better than the experts at A Place for Mom. It's a free service, and we've helped thousands of families find the right place for their mom or dad. There's a place for answers, A Place for Mom. Call today.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-379-1170.
Good afternoon, everybody. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz, AM 1340 KOMY La Selva Beach, FM 1041, KSCO.com 404. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, August 20th, 2017. I'm Jason Struby, here with your weather and traffic. Start off on Highway 1, northbound to Santa Cruz, all clear. Looking good there. Southbound, all clear. At least till you get to Moss Landing. Maybe a tap of the brakes there, and you're good to go all the way through Carmel from there and back. 68 is clear. 101 northbound still very heavy approaching Gilroy, and again up the road approaching Morgan Hill. Back up for miles in either location. That's northbound 101. Long ride. Also, 17 is packed right now. It's a virtual parking lot before you even get to the summit. You're looking at about 10 miles of straight traffic, bumper to bumper, all the way from Glenwood to Los Gatos. Ouch. 17 southbound is clear, 85 clear, Highway 9 clear, 152, 129, 156. Clear except 156 to Prunedale. Going to be a kind of a long ride from Castroville. You might want to take Blackie Road. Typical. 183 and 218 clear. Your weather, clear. We'll have patchy fog tonight, a low near 59. Tomorrow, like today, a high near 66 in Santa Cruz, 70s and 80s inland. It's 4:06, and it's time for the Veterans Take Charge radio show live on KSCO, and we are on KSCO Global on YouTube. Check out the live video stream. Get ready for Veterans Take Charge.
Recent events in the United States of America have had me scratching my head. I see controversy. I see hypocrisy. I see division in our country. And it reminds me of something I remember from the military. We were told regarding unwanted behavior. The slogan was not in my squad, not in my platoon, not in my army. I look at the news and I see things, and it makes me angry. And I have to say it out loud. This behavior, not in my country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Veterans Take Charge radio show.
Wait a minute.
and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. My name is Dave Ramos, former Sergeant, Combat Medic in the United States Army. On my right, as always, my battle buddy for life,
former U.S. Army Ranger Justin Baker. Welcome to today's broadcast.
And on my left, World War II Navy veteran JP. Sir, I'm going to give you a high five.
Present. Accounted for.
I am honored to have you here in studio. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting. After all these years, there's a lot to talk about.
I look forward to it. I look forward to it very much. Last week, we had a damn good broadcast. In studio, we had Army Ranger Tony Verretta and Marine Corps veteran Angel Cervantes, and they were talking about the upcoming Veterans Day Parade over in Salinas. And the rib throwdown happened yesterday. This is a fundraiser for the Veterans Day Parade over in Salinas. And you know what? I saw all kinds of pictures. Unfortunately, I had to work. But I saw all kinds of pictures. I could smell the ribs through the internet. Oh my gosh, I was drooling. They looked really, really good. Anyway, so we talked about that. We talked about what it takes to put on a fundraiser, what it takes to put on a parade. We talked about a whole bunch of things. And then in the second hour, with Tony, with Angel, we fielded some phone calls and we started talking about North Korea. Bless you. We started talking about a lot of the issues that, again, the world is facing. I hesitate
Constantly.
I hesitate to say it like that, like the world is facing. I mean, we are facing this situation right now. And the situation is so evolving. It's I hesitate to say there's any consistency or continuity with it because our president is a shell of a human being. But that's neither here nor there.
He's a shell of a human being?
I said that. I'll say it again.
Man.
So, if you want to hear that, that broadcast as well as every other broadcast, go to zbsradio.com. Look for the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/KSCO Vets. We're on YouTube. We're streaming live on YouTube through KSCO Global. If you look over there, we're on Facebook Live on the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. So I highly recommend, if you guys aren't driving or doing anything super important, you should put on the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show, and you can look at our crazy ugly mugs. You can see me waving my hands around.
You can also call in live at 831-479-1080 if you want to take part in the conversation. And we suggest that you do that because we learn from almost every caller. Some of the callers are just plain crazy, but on occasion we get knowledge from you. So please feel free to call in.
I am very much looking forward to learning right here, right now with JP in studio. You know, sir, you're a Navy veteran from World War II, and you have lived a life that you have a lot of experience with in a lot of different industries, you know, radio, media, and music in particular. But your experience in World War II is, it's your own, you know, and those are stories that we need to hear. I really want to hear them, you know. And then after I really want to talk about what your opinion is on some of the recent events. You know, there's hateful groups, you know, under the mask of, what are they calling it? White nationalists. Yes.
White nationalists.
Alt-left. Nationalists and this and that. And bottom line up front, as far as I'm concerned, there's good guys and there's bad guys. And if you're fueled by hate, if you're fueled by division, if you're fueled by racism, those are bad guys. Those are straight up bad guys in my mind. It's pretty easy. Anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. Sir, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I know that I've been working with veterans since 2011. I started the Veterans Advisory Council after talking to Ron Petty and Charles Woodson and trying to find out how we can communicate with veterans, because it's still a problem. I was at Emmeline before they opened up downtown at the Veterans Building, and a guy walked up to me on Wednesday before Thanksgiving with tears in his eye, and he said, "Where can I get a Thanksgiving dinner?" That really hit me hard. Man, I got on the telephone and I called everybody I could get it. Of course, nobody was answering phones before Thanksgiving. So that's not right. Every veteran should know, if he's homeless in particular, that there's some place for him to go.
Yes.
And that information wasn't given to them because they don't walk around with iPads and computers in their knapsacks when they're going from bridge to bridge. So it's very important that we communicate, and that's what I worked on.
So from 2011 until right now, with the idea that outreach has hopefully been evolving and growing, have you noticed outreach expanding and getting better?
Yeah, when I started, I'm a research guy. I don't want to open up my mouth until I know what the hell I'm talking about.
That's good.
So
we should take those notes right there.
What I did was that I called everybody I could think of in the phone book having to do with veterans. And of course, as you know, I'm a talker, so I have a reputation of just asking questions. It's the old story we learn, you know, you don't believe anything you hear. Don't believe half of what you see. And the other half, challenge it. That's the only way you're going to learn anything. So that's what I did. I wound up with 21 problems in the county in 2011. Vets for Vets was one of them, trying to get veterans to help veterans, because there aren't two people you can put together that are closer other than a mother and a son.
I hear that.
And after that, I also was worried about, because I was a foreman of the grand jury here in Santa Cruz County in 1979, 1980. And one of the things that we had to do was to go through the jails and all the facilities of the county, but in particular the jails, hit me hard because a guy came in and he said, "Who's the foreman?" I said, "I am." He said, "Well, I have a problem. Can you help me?" He said, "I'm a veteran. I'm a drunk. I'm on drugs, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing once in a while, and I can't get any help." So I called the defender, the public defender, his public defender, and I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, the law is if the guy has 2 of the 3, you can help him. But if he has 3 of the 3, you can't help him."
Huh.
You can do.
So now the Veterans Treatment Court has been established with this specific thing in mind.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That was another thing.
Oh.
Vet for Vets was 1, the attorneys were 2, and the other was we had to do something about homelessness. And the best way to do things about homelessness is not to just find them a home, but you had to find them a job.
Mm-hmm.
I put you in a house. How are you going to stay there?
Now there's continuity. Now you're actually
See?
working for something.
Right.
You're building
and
that
a lot
foundation.
of the people, and Dean Kaufman was on my board, Dr. DeMayo, Chuck Woodson, Ron Petty, all of the people who are involved today. So I am, you might say, the catalyst.
I'm going to give you another high five.
All I did was bring it up and yell at some people, and all of a sudden somebody says, "Hey, I think that's what we should do." My last one, by the way, I'm failing at, and I need some help. And I am trying, and here's my goal. I want to be able to get the news. I want you and everybody in town who's a veteran and working in veteran services, everything, to give me information. Not me, but you have a source.
I just had a crazy light bulb go off in my head.
And then I want to take that information, put it in some kind of a simple format, push a button, and 5 minutes, 10,000 people get the information.
Yes! Oh my gosh. The light bulb just clicked. The dominoes have been set. Holy smoke, sir. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We're
Now,
going to talk offline.
Oh, yes. I have an editor. He happens to be an attorney, and he happens to be a Vietnam veteran, and he happens to have PTSD. And by the way, I want to mention, I was at a conference in Monterey 4 years ago, and up comes the general who's in charge of all the hospitals in the United States for veterans. And he said, "We are no longer going to call it PTSD. We're going to call it PTS.
Just drop the D. Yes.
Drop the D. Why? I ask, typically me, I always ask why. I said, "Why did you do that?" He said, "Well, because we can't treat a disorder. So they can treat PTS.
Yes, yes, yes,
Dum,
yes.
dum, dum.
You know, it's kind of an interesting thing because diagnoses get coded a certain way. A disorder gets coded different than a syndrome, different than...
Yeah. Okay, so I got that homeless thing started.
Nice.
And God bless Jonathan Rosen, who was deceased last year, jumped in and offered me to come. They've set up a whole homeless group. And that's been operating and still operating today. And all of my people jumped in it. Then after a while, all of the things the other Mickey Mouse things that makes everything work, I couldn't handle it. There's not enough people and too many problems. So we jumped in with the Veterans Resource Center. I talked with Mr. Campbell in Santa Rosa. I dealt with him in Reno. I've been in Reno, Incline Village, for 25 years and started the Veterans, excuse me, the Veterans Club in Incline in 2007. And I had everything from buck privates to generals and admirals. And I thought I was going to get 20, 30 guys. It turns out I got 250. And at this point, they're operating beautifully. We have a budget We started out with a minus 10,000, you know, but we wound up getting, and we now have a budget that's coming in about 15,000 a year, and we delegate to the hospital, to various organizations.
You are extremely
So
active.
the last thing that I wanted to work on was before the communications problem was PTS. And every guy that I talked to, and I talked to everybody, I stopped them in the street. How you doing? Where you from? Do you need anything? And there's no donation to a homeless veteran allowed because he's not a nonprofit. But we donated. Anyway, so I wanted to do something. So God does things in mysterious ways. Please, I don't know who you are out there, but believe me, there is a God. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm watching television. And on television on CNN in 2012 was the 10 most helpful people in the world. You've seen it. Every November they have it. And in 2012, they had a lady from Gilroy on there.
Really?
Yeah. And what did she do? What she does, she collects dogs.
Is
from
it
dog ponds.
Mary Cortani?
Yes.
What?
Now, I brought her here. I want to tell you a story you haven't heard yet, okay? So it was Mary Cortani, and what does she do? She interviews dogs and puts it on her software. And then she interviews veterans that have PTS and puts them together and waits for a match.
Yeah.
The dogs are all at the foster homes, and the veterans, of course, are with the VA. And if a veteran shows up with a prescription from the doctor that he has PTS, she'll take him on. And what she will do is match him with a dog.
Operation Freedom Paws.
Thank you. So I brought it, got a whole thing. I promoted it. I called every television station, every radio station, newspaper, and all the service providers. I had a list of about 600. Only 35 people showed up.
Really?
Mary Cortani came. We were at Emmeline. I know the dean was very disappointed as well. And anyway, we brought Mary over, and I found out that you guys may not know, she was born and raised in Santa Cruz.
Huh.
She decided to join the Air Force because she wanted to get an airborne group so she could fly around fast. And she went to the officer in charge and he says, I want to join the Air Force on one condition. He said, what's that? Canine. So we got people in K9. He said, I don't care whether you got people in K9. I want to go on K9. I can talk to dogs. And I thought, yeah, it's a bunch of baloney. But she signed up and went to the Air Force. They had 16 guys. Well, they canned the 16 guys and kept her.
Mary Cortani is such a hard charger. She has done some amazing things in her career with animals and law enforcement and the military.
So now I'm going to tell you, as they used to say, the rest of the story.
Yes.
At this meeting, there was only 5 Vietnam veterans. And when we used to live in we were residents in Nevada, and we used to come back and forth every 6 months.
Hold that thought. We're getting ready to go to the commercial break. As soon as we get back, we'll pick up right back. We'll hear the rest of the story. This is the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. We'll be right back.
Hi everybody, Dave Michaels here. You know, Monday, August 21st, there's going to be 2 special events going on. The first one is the first total solar eclipse in the United States since 1979. The second event, though, is going to be the webinar with pharmacist Ben Fuchs. This will be in Gilroy. The address is 6935 Camino Arroyo, 95020. This is going to be your chance to not only meet Ben Fuchs, but also buy CDs, books, DVDs. We're going to have catalogs, appetizers, drinks. We are going to have exclusive training materials for people who enrolled that night. We're even going to have materials for everyone to take home. Everyone is invited, but you have to make reservations. Be sure to call 1-800-910-1196, email dm@ksco.com, or you could text 831-218-5726. Again, we're going to have CDs, books, DVDs, catalogs, appetizers, and exclusive training materials as well. Monday, August 21st, 6:30 p.m., 6935 Camino Arroyo in Gilroy, California.
Is your internet connection slow? Etheric Networks can help you. Etheric Networks is the Bay Area's locally owned alternative to DSL satellite and cable. We do a few things to make our service better. We have a great reputation, and our staff is committed to providing a great user experience. We listen to our customers and listen to our staff. We pay living wages. Our staff are local Bay Area engineers and professionals. We provide flexibility and personalized service. Being in Silicon Valley, we have direct contact with the networking software and hardware companies and can bring new technologies to market before the cable and phone companies. We operate a tower-based fixed wireless network as well as a fiber optic backbone network that rings the Bay. The combination creates an ultra-reliable high-capacity network that you ought to try. KSCO Business Special. Business service up to 10 megabits per second symmetric for as little as $299 a month with a $399 installation fee. Etheric Networks. Call 650-399-4200. Etheric.net.
Welcome back to the Veterans Take Charge radio show. Go Navy. Cool. Wait, does the Navy say hua? What does the Navy say?
Anchors away.
Ah, there we go. I like it.
Get out of here.
We're in studio with World War II veteran James Peterson, JP. Thank you. Thank you again, sir. So we were hearing the rest of the story of Mary Cortani. Right, and you brought her...
I brought her here to Santa Cruz.
No kidding.
Yeah, 2012. And then about 2013, I got a phone call when I was back in town. I received several calls from that, of the 5 Vietnam veterans that were there. And I got information from him. I got some other information from other people that confirmed that, plus other issues. Basically, the story goes that this one veteran had tried to commit suicide twice, could not do it. Finally, on a particular Wednesday, he said, "This is it. I'm done. I'm not going to tolerate this garbage anymore. I'm not getting any help. Nobody's paying attention. I'm by myself. I'm out of here." So he took his gun, cocked it, took the safety off. Everything was loaded, put it on his kitchen table, put his empty cup on the table and said, "I'm making coffee on Saturday. I'm drinking one cup of coffee and saying goodbye." That was Wednesday.
Jeez Louise.
Thursday morning, he got a call. They have a dog for him.
Yeah, so talk about timing.
He went to Gilroy and was introduced to his puppy. That man now, one of those people, another one, works in Silicon Valley making $100,000 a year.
No kidding.
And his dog stays home. He doesn't need his dog.
Yo, that's a success story and a half. That's a success story and a half. I like that.
Well, you know, I now feel how a doctor feels when you go in there and you're dying and he saves your life.
Right.
It's very profound.
Wow, wow, wow.
In any case, that went on for a while, and a lot of veterans can be helped by Mary Cortani.
Yes, we had her on the show. We had her on the show a couple of years ago, and we've been meaning to.
We're trying to figure out a way how to raise money for her. Everybody's raising money.
We're trying to. We're definitely trying.
I'll tell you what's happening, and I didn't tell you this, but I was baptized Elijah, the prophet Elijah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So in Greek, it's Elias. I started the Greek church here in Santa Cruz County, Prophet Elias Greek Orthodox Church downtown. So I just want to tell you that I'm a believer that if you're baptized, Michael, for an example, if you know a Michael will give you the shirt off his back. He's a giving person and a very loving person. You'll never find Michael in a fight, type of thing. And Matthew is a teacher, and Elijah was a prophet, and Elijah was 150% a godly man, and stubborn and get things done. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing. My last chore is trying to get this 10,000 veteran push button going. I need all the help I can get on that.
Oh, yes.
I have some people ready to go. I have a lot of people volunteer, but I can't put it together.
I think we can work together and make that work, make that happen.
I love you for that.
Thank you.
What's the missing piece?
The missing piece.
The other 950,000.
Yeah, yeah. No,
that's a lot of missing pieces.
No, the missing piece, first of all, is the leader.
Okay.
I'm a tired old guy at 90 years old, and you know, I forget half the things that I did and half the things I should be doing, and that's not right because you got people depending on you. You can't do that. Now I know why guys retire after they start forgetting things. Number one. Number two, I need I have an editor. I have a gentleman, as I mentioned, an attorney who's willing to Rich Gillis. He's going to call me pretty soon. He's the attorney. He's a buddy. We meet once a week, update things. He has a lot of information. This man is loaded with information. So he has the wherewithal. He's operated multiple groups, and he's been in group situations. So he would fit into this thing. Now we need the rest of them. People going around getting information. Got to come down and see him and say, okay, who'd you have here last week? And start writing stuff, biographies. We need video, all kinds of stuff that we need to get. Is it? Well, you think about it yourself. If you were going to start a newspaper, what would you do?
Yeah.
You know, a guy with money is going to say, come on. Well, who's going to come on?
Yeah.
So you got to find people. It's a problem everybody has.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, no problem.
We have the same problem here on the show.
Everybody has a problem.
We're piecing it together just like you guys.
Yeah, well, we used to say we keep it together with gum.
Yeah. 100-mile-an-hour tape.
So anyway, that took care of the PTS, and now I got this last thing I want to do. Are we all done with questions regarding that? We'll go to how I got on the war.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about your experience in the military. Like you said, you were 17 years old when you joined the Navy, and that the Navy was.
Well, what happened? I was in high school, and the war was going crazy. I mean, we were dropping.
What year did you join the military?
Well, I went down to join in '44.
Okay.
When I turned 17. I was born in 1927, obviously. And by the way, I want to inject something here, which is interesting. Out of all of the 500 veterans that I have on my mailing list, and all of the World War II guys I've ever met, I am the youngest World War II veteran. Okay? I met a guy the other day at the Capitol. He says, I'm a young World War II veteran. I said, when were you born? He said, June. I was born in August, so that makes me younger. He fell on his chair and says, I give up. But anyway, I wanted to join when I was 17. The newspapers, you know, we didn't have television. The newspapers and radio, Gabriel Heater, Walter Winchell, and everybody's going crazy. The world is really bad. The Germans have jets, and we're still flying around with props. The Japanese have jets, and we're still flying around with props. The atom bomb is being developed in Germany, and all this crap is going on.
Yeah.
Figured, you know, somebody's got to do something.
So did you feel this passion, this
Yes.
movement?
Well, part of it was stupidity. Because
I think we can all kind of agree with that.
Most of us. Well, I talked to some of the guys that went to Iraq. Why did you go to Iraq? My buddies went. Right?
This guy right here. This guy right
Why
here.
did you go to?
He's the reason I joined up.
That's terrible.
I actually joined up because I couldn't get the mental picture of those two people holding hands jumping out of the World Trade Center out of my head. So that was really like what kept on repeating in my mind, and it led to my decision. But I also actually followed one of my buddies in. Or two of them, Kenny Hernandez and Rudy Maldonado, and they both, Kenny Hernandez ended up in the Ranger Regiment where I was at, and then Rudy Maldonado ended up at 5th ID at Fort Hood, Texas.
Yeah, well, I went in with the intention of going to college because that was one of the things that was offered, the GI plan.
Yeah.
So I went in to join, and I got all the papers all filled out, and he says, now I want you to go home and get your mother's permission.
Because you were 17?
Navy was the only one that'll take a 17-year-old. I said, what are you talking about? So I went home and said, Ma. And before I opened up my mouth, she said, no.
Oh.
She knew what was happening.
I mean, given the nature of the circumstance.
Yeah, that was September of '44.
So you were fresh 17.
So I had to wait. And then the war with Germany was over. I think it was, get the date right, I think it was June. And after that happened, my mother said, okay, you can go. She figured one's over. You got a 50% chance, right? So I went in and joined. And when I graduated from boot training, Truman did me a favor, a big one. I am here for 2 reasons. One, my mother gave me birth. And number 2, the greatest president that ever lived dropped the atom bomb because I was headed for the invasion of Japan, and we were going in 2 months.
Oh, no kidding.
I have, for those people who are interested, writing to the station, call you guys. I don't know if I sent it to you. I have the 16-page unclassified plan to invade Japan, which never happened.
No kidding.
By the numbers of people, by the regiments, by the ships, by everything, all details.
Straight up op order.
We need to put that on the Facebook page. I want to see that.
That's actually kind of phenomenal because you can look at the old op orders in relation to what we know now today. If we're going to pull a mission.
Now what I want to do is tell you the rest of the story later because I got to come back to Great Lakes, Illinois, where I graduated in boot training. They offered me officer candidate school. If I finished high school, I didn't finish high school.
No kidding.
So all kinds of stuff happened. Anyway, a buddy of mine, I tell you this story. A buddy of mine, there was 5 of us. I can go back. Let me go back another year. Mm-hmm. I'm Greek Orthodox, and I was going to Assumption Church in Detroit, and I was serving in the altar. And 4 of us decided we wanted to become priests. And so 4 of us talked about it. And one guy says, I'm leaving next summer.
Did you want to be a priest?
I'm going to Brookline, Massachusetts to become a Greek priest. And the 3 of us said, nah, I got to decide whether I'm going to marry a woman or the church. So I didn't. I was confused. I was a punk. So later on, there's this big high school, and there's 5 guys in a senior class. Let's go. One of the guys said, I am going to join the combat air crew. So what the hell's a combat air crew? Well, it's a Billy Governor in a Navy plane. He wanted to figure his odds, You don't see Navy planes bombing anybody, so not going to get shot at. So anyway, I lost track of him. So we went and joined. I got to Great Lakes, and from Great Lakes, we were put on a troop train, and I want to tell you, it was a cattle car. You know how you travel, how they move cattle around the country?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were in. We smelled all the manure and all that crap.
I remember
they sent us all the way out here, Camp Shoemaker. Camp Shoemaker up in Pleasanton, it's still there.
No kidding.
Yeah, they put us up there. That's a de-embarkation point. Put a bunch of bodies in there and wait you need 40 guys? I got 40 guys. And they ship 40 guys in a bus, and they meet a ship at Hunters Point or Treasure Island.
It was like a big staging area.
Yeah, so finally we got on there, got on a troop ship on our way over to Japan. I thought we were going to invade Japan in a troop ship. So, so we left. I don't know, nobody tells you anything, right? And you don't volunteer.
Stand up over here, sit down over there.
Yeah, so I wound up going to Orange Bay, Okinawa. And the war is over in Japan, but not in Okinawa. They're still fighting it out.
Okay.
These guys are in the caves. They have no radios. They're
This
not
is the
going to
idea
communicate.
that they never got the message.
They didn't get the message.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, my understanding is that last year or the year before, there was a guy to come out of the caves after 60 years in the caves.
Wow.
I don't know what the hell, how he lived. I don't know. Anyway, you can Google it. So
I can't imagine being in that mindset.
Yeah, so I get to Orange Bay, and I'm assigned to the USS Ludlow, DD-438, Tin Can Navy, a destroyer. I don't know a destroyer from a cruiser, from a battleship. What do I know, So I get aboard and find the bunk, and I wanted to join the Navy because I wanted to have a place to sleep every night that was clean. I wanted to have a meal every morning, and I want to be able to be in air, fresh air.
I hear that.
Boy, I got it all.
I hear that, yeah.
Then I got the salt with it, and that was something different. But anyway, so I get in a tin can, and I'm looking around, and it's October, I guess October the 4th. Google it. The biggest typhoon that Okinawa ever had. October the 4th. 1945. Everybody says, get out of here. Man, the place was, we're going to invade Japan.
Yeah, there's no way
there
you
were
guys are gonna leave.
ships and tankers and tanks and that was a B-29 base. They had a load of B-29s ready to go. All this stuff was collecting, and there was a troop ship, a mercy ship. You remember the white ship with the Red Cross on it?
Floating hospital.
That was in the harbor. And of course, God bless them, they better move pretty fast because they don't move too good. They're too big of a ship, and the storm was going 40 miles an hour. But the winds were going 400 miles an hour.
Holy smokes.
Just to give you an idea, Cork, first time you heard it from a guy who saw it. In the old days, our life rafts were, the cork cross-section was like this, flat, and a netting. They didn't care whether you got wet, right? They didn't care if the sharks came up and got your foot. So they at least kept you from going to the bottom.
Yeah.
That cork life raft went through 3/8-inch armor.
From the wind?
From the wind and the water.
Oh!
So help me God. My job, you asked me before, was to climb the ladder 85 feet up. If you can look at a flat toothpick, stick in the back, pointed in front, that's a destroyer. You can look at it from the air. I'm in the fantail, which is in the back, and I got to go all the way front. The tin cans, the destroyers came in various classes. Our class didn't have a beneath connection. You had to go out into the water and get wet to get up the ladder to get to the forward lookout. I don't know what the hell we were doing up there. We couldn't see anything anyway, but that's what we had to do. You had to do it, right? It's policy. So here you're riding, and this ship is listing almost 45 degrees.
Wow.
That way. And it's listing about 60 degrees going this way over the wave. The waves are 100 feet, and if you have a 100-foot wave, that water had to be displaced from someplace. Now there's a 100-foot hole. That water had to come up to make 100 foot, right?
Man.
We went through
Wow.
That was my experience aboard ship. And then we went around Honshu, went around the Honshu Island. Japan is cut in half. The Honshu River goes right through Japan. And we went Kuri, Kobe, Sasebo, and finally went all the way around to Nagoya. I didn't get off in Hiroshima, and I didn't get off in Nagasaki. I just didn't want to see it.
Yeah,
it's like looking for dead bodies. And
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I hear that.
So anyway, my job aboard, I was the youngest guy, obviously. These guys on this ship, have you ever seen From Here to Eternity? I don't know why you guys don't see the good movies. Get it. But it's about how all the stupid guys in the Army screwed up. Well,
I'm going to watch that as soon as I
can. I was aboard ship with the equivalent in the Navy. When it got into port, my job, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't that. Well, I did smoke. I took up smoking. I'm a man.
I hate to cut you off, sir. We got a commercial break right now. Man, oh man. This is the Better State Charge Radio Show. Let's make it a quick commercial break.
Biannual Santa Cruz High All-Class Barbecue is scheduled this Sunday at Harvey West Park. The fun begins at 10 a.m. A $25 donation will provide you with a New York steak lunch with beans, salad, and garlic bread. This is a BYOB event. All alumni, attendees, parents, and friends of Santa Cruz High are invited. Proceeds help fund scholarships to graduating seniors. The Alumni Association provides $20,000 each year in scholarship grants. See old friends and neighbors at this party. Put together a reunion of your friends and join in the fun. We hope to see you there.
The Off the Lip Radio Show is the world's only live talk show dedicated to both surfing and skateboarding. As we record the surf and skate history in Santa Cruz and beyond, your host Neil Perlberg and co-host Terry Campion ask you to sit back and relax and enjoy the fun we have with our many iconic guests. Tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on KSCO or watch the live stream on the Surf Channel and catch the podcast on offthelipradio.com or on iTunes and TuneIn Radio.
Hi, I'm Georgia.
And I'm Sam Quinton. We're here on behalf of your favorite radio station, KSCO.
Think of all the entertaining programming we've brought you over the last 70 years.
Well, the time has come to ask all you good folks to help support MZ's Kids. They need your help now so they can stay in their home and provide you with the programming you've come to love so much.
So to support MZ's Kids, just go to the KSCO website and go to the donate page. There you can use the PayPal link and the patreon.com/KSCO link to make your donation for the kids.
So act now so MZ's Kids can continue to bring you the programming you need and the shows you love.
We, the kids, thank you.
Thank you. And please, give till it hurts.
Welcome back to the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. Mr. Peterson, there's so many things to talk about. We're gonna have to have you back on many a time because I love listening to what you're saying. I love
you got a couch?
Hearing about it. Heck yeah, we got a couch.
We can camp out.
We have 2 couches. We got 2 couches in studio.
But with the pending, the conversation that I really want to have for the next few minutes at least is regarding the recent situations, the racial tensions, I'm going to call it for what it is, the racists and
That's what it is.
Yeah, just bad people, you know. And much like the president, I am going to say that there are bad people on all sides. But I'm damn straight going to condemn the ones that are doing awful things. I'm going to say it again. He's a shell of a human being.
Is he doing awful things?
That's up to interpretation.
Yeah, exactly.
I still think he's a shell of a human being, but that's neither here nor there. With your experience, sir, you were in World War II, and that's the greatest generation, the war to end all wars, you know, fighting Nazis because they were doing atrocious things, as well as there's the political realities of World War II and global relationships. But when you look here today on American soil and you see people with the American flag and the Nazi flag combined into one, in my mind it doesn't make any sense. It's a conundrum. It's a hypocrisy that is unmatched. What do you feel when you see that kind of thing?
Can I answer by going back and giving you the definition of the greatest generation in the world?
I would love it if you did.
Okay. When we grew up, number one was God. We're first generation. Our parents left their parents in the old country and left their whole tradition to come to a country that they couldn't speak English. They came anyway because the opportunities were so fantastic. You can't stand in their way. What brought them here was God. All of these people had the Lord in mind when they came. They didn't come here because the president was a nice guy. They didn't know who was over here.
The American dream or opportunity.
They just knew that there was something better that the Lord was going to help them with. So God was number one. We went to church. We respected religion. We talked about religion. We discussed religion. We appreciated Protestants and Catholics and Roman Catholics and Muslims and etc. It was a known fact that there is one God. What is the argument? So the second point was we came to the greatest generation, and my parents came to the greatest generation. And by the way, my dad was in World War I.
Wow.
So they came to the United States because it was a wonderful nation. The birth of patriotism. It came from the old countries. Nationalism. The things that you hear today of people mouthing about. They talk about the right, they talk about the left. We'll talk about that in a minute. But they came for that reason. So God was number one, our country was number two. Your family was number three. You didn't count. Family was three. God one, the country two, and your family three. Four was your friends and the rest of the people in the world. If there was anything left, any crumbs, then you ate it. That's the way it was. Look what's happening today. Turn it around. The me generation. My friends.
You flip that completely upside down.
Right.
I was going to ask if you see a lack of faith in today's demographic, in today's country. You know, it does in my mind seem like there is a significant lack of faith in a higher power. Spiritual attention is not being paid at all.
Well, yeah, I looked at it this way. You have a watch, a watchmaker made it. You got a car, didn't a car maker make it? There are trees. Who made them?
Who's the tree maker?
How did they get there? With the dirt. The old story about the guy comes, I can do that. He says, well, go ahead. He said he started to pick up dirt. The Lord says, no, you can't use my dirt. Got to go get yours. So you can't, you know. He said, I went to University of Detroit, a Jesuit college, and of course that was one of the things that's what I learned from him, the Jesuit. Anyway, so now we talk about the people today. What my grandson said to me, just to give you an idea, and I got 3 of them. They're 30, I think it's 35, 38, and 41. And what he said to me was, I have 20 friends. None of them go to church. None of them believe in God. And they don't read the Bible. I didn't know how to answer that. I thought about that for a long time. I said, God always does this to me anyway. He just puts things in my head. You know, he operates us by remote control.
So I've heard.
Okay? So I thought about it. God put the thing in my head, and I called my grandson and I said, Brian, I got it. I said, what is it? Very simple. It goes in your position. God is on channel 16 and you guys are on channel 4. Change channels. How else are you going to explain it? So as far as, you know, please believe me when I tell you this. The world has not changed. People have changed.
I hear that.
Now, if you have, you know, they talk about, let's put it another way. The power in this government that started in the 20s after the Depression was money. Rockefellers and all the guys, okay? They figured out a way how to collect all the money. Now, the game is the United States. I'm putting it in simple terms. The game is a game of the state, the government, the United States, I'll be okay. The United States is a monopoly game. And the rich people wound up with boardwalk and all the railroads and all the things that, what do you got? We have young people who can't afford to live. They can't afford to rent a house in Santa Cruz.
We were just talking about that in the car.
Well, I lost 2 very lovely people, friends of mine, young people that have to go. As a matter of fact, Al is another one over at the Capitola Veterans. His wife just had a baby. I didn't ask him if he had a baby. His wife had a baby. And he said, we can't afford to live here anymore. We got to move. They're going to Modesto.
Wow.
So, and then how about Lisa to cook? You know how many nice things she did for veterans?
Uncounted.
She went around and did nothing, but she gave me a mattress because I was having a problem with a mattress.
Me too.
Love. I mean,
and a vacuum.
Everything's
and a
fueled
vacuum.
by love.
Yeah. And I needed, it was there. I called the meeting. She brought all the food. And what did they do to her?
They ran her out of town.
So I won't go into that, but she's gone now.
That was probably one of the greatest losses for the local veteran community, in my opinion.
I believe.
Because it wasn't just the good that she had already done; it was the good that she was going to continue doing, and now we've lost it.
One last thing, Vets for Vets. I got a telephone call from Dean Kaufman. Dean called me and said, "JP, I need some help. We're having a barbecue for Vets, and also for We Love Our Veterans, and we're having a barbecue over at the lumber yard in downtown San Lorenzo." Said, I'll be there. Well, I was there with 2 other Vietnam veterans sitting next to me, and I saw a guy pull up on one of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen in my life. I didn't know what it was. So I waited, and he finally came over. He said, you're World War II? I said, yes. I said, well, you're the greatest generation in the world. I said, would you please tell me why? That's why I had to do the research. You know? Anyway, so he said, well, because you had to deal with Hitler, you had to deal with Mussolini, you had to deal with China, Japan, Japan, and all the other guys. So you guys did a wonderful job. Of course, we lost, 400,000 guys didn't come back. In the whole war, I guess we lost maybe something around 16 million people, 61 million, including the civilians. So anyway, he said, I'd like to make a donation. You guys take credit cards? I said, no, sir. I don't have my checkbook. I reached in my wallet. I said, how much you want? How much you going to put in? He said, $20. I put $20 in a pot, and I gave him my card, and I said,
you owe me $20.
And he looked at me, and he says, GD, that's what I'm trying to tell you. A World War II veteran is the only guy that would do that. That was his definition of the greatest generation in the world. And he said, wait a minute, I got something for you. I said, okay. So he took off. I'll be back. He went to the bank and came back.
Wow.
Got a whole bunch of money. Threw it in a pot, and he says, guess what? Your talk and your $20 just got you 5 more.
Wow.
So I got $100 that day.
Nice.
And then I walked over and saw this lady was there. She was hounding everybody, come have barbecue with Lisa. And I said, gee, what is your name? She says, Lisa. I said, Lisa, it's my pleasure meeting. She said, what's your name? JP. JP! Dean must have told a lot of stories. But anyway, that was the definition of the world, greatest generation. But let's get back to this other issue. There are 2 things in the world that are the most important things in your life that you must deal with. You have to deal with it sooner or later. Your government and religion. Politics and religion. And what do they tell you? Don't talk politics or religion. I don't want to talk about politics.
Yeah, right.
In Greece, there's 2 things that they discuss. Politics and religion. The rest is garbage. Don't need it. I got to deal with God, and I got to deal with the government. And who's the government? The people. And who's the church? The people. So how you separate people? Greece, there's only 2. By the way, for your listeners, there's only 2 countries in the world that are 98% Christian. And the United States is not even close.
Oh, no way.
Okay? There are 2 countries, Greece and the Philippines.
Really?
Greece is 98% Greek Orthodox.
Makes
nothing
sense.
else.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, there's 14 different Christian religions because of the wonderful work of the
Spaniards?
The people that
the Europeans?
No, the guys that go around and preach.
Oh, the missionaries.
Huh?
Like missionaries?
Missionaries, thank you, sir. Yeah, the missionaries. So you can Google it, but it's really amazing. So there are people like these skinheads. They're idiots, unfortunately, but they have a cause. I heard a gentleman on television today, which I thought was very profound. Keep in mind that the skinhead has a problem. None of us know what his problem is because we're not communicating. Communication is the world's problem.
I was just thinking, is that a perceived problem or is that...
That's an actual problem.
Okay.
You look at the guy, there were several guys on television that came out of the skinhead revolution and write books about all the idiot things he did. He didn't know anything. Let me tell you a very profound thing. When I was in the University of Detroit, the Jesuit there had spent 30 years in college. He was trying to read the Bible. You can't translate the Bible. There's only one way to read the Bible. 2 ways. Hebrew and Greek. You can't read it any other way. You can't translate a lot of the stuff that's there. So the Jesuit said, I have to find the answer because I'm still not convinced of everything because there are some discrepancies and so on. So he went to Mount Athos in Greece at the monastery. He said, I stayed there for a couple of years. After I got out, I went out on the ground. I kissed the ground, said, thank you, Lord, for giving me daylight. I now can see. It had to be Greek.
Now, real quick, with that in mind,
yes.
We've only got a few minutes left, and you want to talk about honor flights and your shirt, and
yes.
It's a perfect transition because talking about
to
getting
World
off
War
the
II.
plane and kissing the ground.
I was in Nevada as a Nevada residence. I started this Veterans Club that I told you, and I got the about 250 guys. I have a mailing list. And a guy came by and he said, I would like to send you guys to see your memorial. And by the way, there are only 3 monuments in Washington: Lincoln, Washington, and the Navy Monument. All the others are memorials. So we're not going to see the World War II monument. It's the World War II memorial.
Got it.
And they got an Atlantic entrance and a Pacific entrance, which puts the world, which is kind of nice. And then they have 50 columns, one for each state.
Oh, no kidding.
And they're linked with a Navy chain. And then there is also a big honor board, and they have a star for every veteran that didn't come back.
Oh my gosh.
And I want to tell you that I thought it would be, and I went on the initial flight, the inaugural flight in Nevada. The governor gave us the plane, the Nevada one, and we went to Washington and came back. And I want to tell you, I took $60 with me. I went there and they wouldn't take a penny. It was all for free.
That's beautiful.
It was 3 days, and then we got on the buses to go. And then, God bless the Vietnam veterans, but those guys showed up with their motorcycles, and in front of them was the cops. They opened up and told everybody, get off the road. World War II. You can see them, if you watch the video, you see everybody getting off, sirens going and wheels, and and of course the Vietnam veterans are, going. You can't hear us. It's fantastic. So we got back, and there was one. It's another story. So I wanted to tell. I came back. One of the things that I wanted to. Oh boy. One of the things I wanted to do was start a group here. They have one started. It started in Monterey. Thank you.
JP, I am honored that you are here,
Well,
and I very much look forward to the next time you get to be here.
I have some World War II veterans I can bring with me.
Out freaking standing. Yes, and please. Sir, I'm going to give you another high five. Thank you very much.
How about both of them?
Yes. This is the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. We'll be right back. Next hour, we've got Perry Yee, Navy SEAL, ActiveValor.org.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
CBS News, I'm Pam Coulter. President Trump will deliver his first formal address to the nation tomorrow night. The subject, his new strategy in Afghanistan. CBS's Errol Barnett has more.
Sources tell CBS News the strategy allows for deploying around 4,000 additional troops and aggressively pushing Pakistan to stop acting as a safe haven for terrorists. General Joseph Votel, the head of U.S. Central Command, is visiting Pakistan and Afghanistan this weekend to brief them on the plans. The U.S. currently has fewer than 10,000 troops in Afghanistan, many of them as trainers.
The Coast Guard has expanded the search area for the 5 crew members on the Army Black Hawk helicopter that crashed off the coast of Hawaii 4 days ago. The search has covered 68,000 square nautical miles, and while significant debris has been found, there have been no sign of the soldiers. The comedy and show business worlds are mourning the loss of Jerry Lewis, who died today at age 91. While many consider Lewis a comic genius, Gilbert Gottfried says for a time he fell out of favor.
He was considered written off as like, oh, he did these dumb comedies and he wasn't anything. And now I think they'll really be studying his movies.
Lewis's career started in vaudeville at age 5, but he won international fame when paired with Dean Martin. Pop culture expert Robert Thompson.
They had become huge stars on the nightclub circuit. They were guests of the very first episode of The Ed Sullivan Show, which, of course, became a TV hit. And then they were hosts of the Colgate Comedy Hour. So they were some of the early stars of television.
And for many years, Lewis was known for hosting the muscular dystrophy telethons. He helped raise more than $2 billion. The CIA reportedly warned Spain 2 months ago about a possible terror attack on Barcelona. Maryland Senator Ben Cardin on Fox News Sunday.
The United States, working with our allies, need to make sure that we follow up on the information we have. It's unacceptable to see the signs that we saw in Spain and still the tragedies that took place.
Nashville is bracing for a crowd to watch tomorrow's solar eclipse.
The city is within 1 day's drive for nearly 165 million people. So no one can predict how many carloads will descend from cities like Louisville, Charlotte, Birmingham, Memphis, and even South Louisiana. Tennessee troopers aren't usually afraid of the dark, but they do have one fear about tomorrow.
Do not park on the roadways to watch the eclipse. Do not get out and take pictures of yourself and selfies of yourself. Use common sense. You have to be wise.
So tomorrow when it does go dark here in Nashville, the people will get 1 minute and 55 seconds of totality.
CBS's David Begnaud. This is CBS News.
I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch, where you can get the world's most comfortable sheets for less than half of what you'd pay in the store. Our sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and get softer over time. Even 3 U.S. presidents have Boll & Branch sheets. Try them for 30 nights. If you don't love them, send them back for a full refund. Go to bollandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping with promo code SLEEP. Spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. That's bollandbranch.com, promo code SLEEP.
Do you owe more than $8,500 to the IRS? If so, we are going to give you the most important number you may ever need to end your IRS nightmare. You may have heard of the tax settlement program with the IRS. Well, the IRS will be making drastic changes which will make it more difficult to reduce your tax debt. Call Platinum Tax Defenders today to learn how you can resolve your tax nightmare before these new changes go into effect. Call 800-405-1225. 800-405-1225. 800-405-1225.
Good afternoon, everybody. You're listening to KSCO, AM 1080, FM 1041, KSCO.com, 504 on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hope everyone's having a good one. I'm Jason Strube. It's time for your weather and traffic report. We'll start on Highway 1, northbound, coming into Santa Cruz, rolling at the limit. Southbound looks good all the way to Carmel. Just a bit under the limit northbound toward Moss Landing and through coming into Seaside northbound. 68 eastbound heavy. This is approaching Laureles Grade Road. Backed up for about a mile there as you head towards Salinas. 101 northbound heavy in pockets. Very heavy in pockets, as a matter of fact. That's northbound basically from Prunedale to Gilroy. And again, approaching Morgan Hill. Both spots backed up for miles. 17 northbound, a complete parking lot right now. You're looking at about 8 miles of straight bumper to bumper as you crawl northbound toward Los Gatos. You'll be back up to speed once you get through town there. We had a hit and run reported on 41st Avenue at Safeway. And an animal hazard, Rancho San Carlos Road off County Road 16, Carmel Valley Road. Skunk vehicles swerving to avoid. Don't want to hit that guy. 85 is clear. Other roadways looking good. Patchy fog expected overnight. Light winds, 9 miles per hour. We'll have a low near 59. Patchy fog through tomorrow morning. We'll have a sunny afternoon. A high near 68 in Santa Cruz. 70s and 80s inland. And it's 5:06. Time for hour 2 of the Veterans Take Charge radio show with your host, Justin Baker and Dave Ramos on KSCO.
Wait a minute.
I hope that you guys are all watching this live because, well, actually, you know what? I hope you're not watching it live because if you are seeing how freaking accident prone I've been today. Jeez Louise. I want to, real quick, give out a huge, heartfelt, proud and steadfast thank you to James Peterson for being here in studio with us. Not only because he's an amazing human being, but this was extremely short notice, and he took charge. That is a veteran that took charge.
Is our Facebook feed running from a camera to a screen. We're filming a television screen.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
We are. Hey, but you know what? This next hour is going to be hopping and popping because I'm very, very, very glad and honored again to introduce our first Navy SEAL on the program. Today's just straight up Navy
Finally.
Day.
2.5 years. We finally got a SEAL.
Navy Day.
That's awesome.
Go Navy. Who? No, anchors away. Hey, you know what? Let's talk to Perry and let's find out what the Navy says in this generation. Perry, are you with us?
I am. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on, brother? Proud and steadfast. Welcome to the Veterans Take Charge radio show, man.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. Sorry I couldn't make it up there.
No worries, no worries. It is one heck of a drive. I think Brady Pasola, real quick, everybody. Brady Pasola is the one who linked us together, and yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
You saved yourself about a 20-hour drive round trip, so.
Dude, seriously. Well, hey, man.
I haven't been up there, so I'll make it up there one day.
The next time that you do come up here, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be very awesome. But hey, you are our first Navy SEAL. You are running activevalor.org, and there's a lot that I really want to talk to you about. So I guess we should start from the beginning, right? Does that make sense?
That's where all the great stories start, right?
Yeah, right. No kidding. So hey, man, when did you join the military, and what were some of the reasons, some of the inspirations that you had to joining the military?
So I joined back in 2005, January 2005. I was 20 years old at the time, and for me, basically, I went to college after high school, and yeah, I was one of those people where school just wasn't my thing. You know, I was a terrible student. One of those kids that just did not apply themselves, and you know, I look back on it at times and regret it every now and then. But
well, you know,
basically, I was at college, and so I'm from New Hampshire. So I went to the university in northern New Hampshire. So I wasn't too far away from home. I was about an hour and 30 minutes. So you know, not that bad. I was home probably every other weekend to do my laundry, all the fun stuff like that. But yeah, so basically, I made the decision to give school a break, and that's I believe that's what my intentions were to start. And then actually, one of my best friends from high school had joined the Navy right after we graduated.
Sounds familiar.
Just right. Just talking with him and him sharing his experiences. I mean, he loved what he did. He was a TB in the Navy, and he kind of got me thinking. And I just had a really tough time thinking about, you know, like what I was going to do if I were to stay in my hometown. You know, I really had no idea what direction my future was going to go in.
Yeah.
So I figured, you know, the military was kind of like one of my only few options in my mind, at least.
When you were going to school, were you doing just like general education stuff, or did you have like an idea, like I think I might want to go into this industry or that field or something?
I was going towards criminal justice.
Okay.
But I was taking mostly my general ed courses throughout that time.
I gotcha. And do you have a military family? Any kind of a military history in your bloodline?
I don't actually. I was the first one in my immediate family, at least, to join. So it was kind of I don't know if it was really a shock to my parents or anything. I think they knew that I was super unhappy up at school, and you know, I was having a lot of struggles with what I was going to do when I got out and everything, and so I think it might have been a little bit of surprise, but I mean they were definitely very supportive about it.
Nice.
So that that made it a lot easier.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So when you join the military, you know, it being a Navy SEAL, like in my mind, it's actually pretty funny because a couple of days ago I came across this article. Of course, it was on social media, so who knows where it came from. But like, it was this article of
probably all true.
Hollywood's top 10 worst Navy SEALs, and it was like Steven Seagal and Charlie Sheen and Chuck Norris.
Was Michael Biehn on there? I think he's played.
He's one of the best. Michael Biehn is one of the best Navy SEAls, and Space Marines for that matter.
Yep.
But like when it came to joining the Navy, what did you originally have in mind when you joined, and what led you to being one of the most elite operators in our fighting force?
I'll tell you what, I was really unfamiliar with what Navy SEALs were, to be completely honest. I had heard of them. I really had no idea about what it really took to become one. And when I started talking to the recruiters, 'cause I went to all the branches to see what would be the best fit. And quite honestly, I went to all of them and I just asked for whatever their hardest program was going to be. I figured if I was going to chef. No, just kidding. But yes, I looked into Rangers. I looked into like recon. I looked into the PJs with the Air Force, and then with SEALs in the Navy, and just doing my research and kind of reading up on actually like what BUDS was, and then what the respect that came with it, and with all the special forces throughout the military. But BUDS just caught my attention. I think mainly because of all the water stuff that was involved, and I knew that it was something that I was extremely uncomfortable with, and for some reason I just felt like I needed to to push myself. And I honestly really don't know what it was that was so appealing to it, because it sounded miserable, but great at the same time. So I ended up going. My Navy recruiter was actually pretty familiar with the BUDS program, which is nice. I mean, I know a lot of recruiters kind of BS their way around the situation with a lot of kids these days, at least from what I've heard of. But he was actually very familiar with the BUDS program and got me connected with actually getting a BUDS contract for when I enlisted, meaning which I would be guaranteed a slot at BUDS as long as I was able to pass the screen test.
So now, real quick, BUDS. I know that BUDS is the Navy SEAL training, but it's also an acronym. What does BUDS stand for?
So BUDS is a basic underwater demolition / SEAL training. And so, I mean, there's, I'm sure nowadays everybody is extremely familiar with what it entails, with all the movies, the TV shows, the documentaries.
Reality shows, and everybody wants to be like Jason Bourne and Chris Kyle, and everybody wants to emulate that, or at least try and capitalize on it. Those freaking dirtbags.
Yeah, there's that too, and I mean, that's a whole different conversation for another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super appealing to me as well, and I've been reading about the attrition rate and how there is, I believe that it was 15% of students make it through, and as scary as that sounds, I mean the thought of being able to accomplish that and into being that top percentage, it meant a lot to me. And it was actually kind of funny because I was growing up. I mean, I played sports. I wasn't like a top athlete at anything, and I also wasn't the most confident kid either. So I think that probably played a lot into it. Proving something to myself. Not so much other people, but yeah, I definitely did it for me.
That's good.
Which I think is it's a lot better. I mean, a lot of people might do it to prove other people wrong, but for me, it's like I knew that I had a lot of like confidence issues and self-esteem issues that I had to overcome. And,
is that one of the reasons why when you went to all the recruiters, you asked specifically for the most challenging slot you could find?
You're probably, yeah. I mean, that probably played a lot.
I feel like that's pretty forward thinking. That's a really great way to approach the next chapter of life, knowing that there's a lot of reward, internal reward to be met with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when it comes to SEAL training, of course we now have the books and media and everything is on TV, and we can see a 30-minute clip of what it's like to roll around in the beach and stuff. But for you, going through BUDS, what do you think is one of the most challenging as well as one of the funnest things that you've done?
Oh man. So I actually had a pretty extensive BUDS career. So buds alone, it's the very first part of SEAL training. You have buds, which is 7 months, and then once you graduate from there, you go on to SET, which is SEAL qualification training, which is another 6 or 7 months until you actually get your trident and go to a SEAL team. So
training to be a Navy SEAL is over a year long.
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea it was that long.
Yeah, I mean, mostly people only hear about buds, and I mean, for me too, I didn't even know what SDT was until I think I was already a few months into my enlistment. But yeah, so for me, I went to Bud. I got out here in Coronado February of 2006, and I started with class 259, and I made it all the way up to Hell Week, and I actually ended up getting an injury. So I was in the middle of Hell Week, and I got nerve damage. So I damaged a nerve right in like the back of my neck, and I ended up losing complete feeling and movement in my entire left arm for about 3.5 months. So it was called a brachial plexopathy, I guess, and it's actually quite common. I mean, not a lot of people get it each class, but I'm pretty sure that there's at least 1 or 2 kids that experience it.
No kidding.
It's funny because I was at medical, and
Are you still there? Uh-oh. What happened?
So they said it could be a month, it could be a year, and so they kind of let me ride it out.
I'm not going to lie, your phone cut out. All we heard was, I went to medical and then you came back saying,
okay.
So for like a month or for a year? Sorry. What did the medical tell you about that? Because that type of a situation is definitely like career altering. Oh, you know what? Hold that thought. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, man. We're getting ready to go to a commercial break. We'll try and make it a quick commercial break. Yeah. So as soon as we come back, we'll pick it up from your injury.
Check.
Sound good? This is the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. We're online with Perry Yee, our Navy SEAL. We'll be right back.
The 17th annual Santa Cruz Chef's Dinner is coming up Thursday, September 14th. This gala event features a 6-course gourmet dinner paired with fine local wines. Join featured local chefs from Cafe Cruz, Paradise Beach Grill, Assembly, Carried Away, Sotola Bar and Grill, and California Grill. All proceeds benefit Second Harvest's award-winning Food for Children program. Seats are limited. Buy your tickets today at thefoodbank.org. Sponsored in part by KSCO Radio.
Newspapers are just as good an advertising medium as radio.
Sure. Driving home at night, you can enjoy your newspapers. It lies there on the seat. And there's another good thing about newspapers. You can read them while you're rushing to get ready for work in the morning, right?
Who listens to radio? That go where you go medium called radio. That's with you every night through the long commuter fight, and in the morning with your toast and mama lady-o. Who listens to radio? No matter if it's summer, winter, spring, or fall. Who listens to radio? Only 150 million. 150 million people. That's all.
Neil here, host of the Off-Lit Radio and our local radio shows on KSCO. For the past 5 years, I've been blessed to interview great people of our community with a radio station that is celebrating the past 70 years and now the next 70 years. Learn how you can be a part of the future of Santa Cruz ever-beating heartbeat, KSCO, by emailing me at np@ksco.com.
You're popping and locking today.
I don't know, man. Something's up with me today. I can't. Whatever. Hey, welcome back to the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. We are online with Navy SEAL Perry Yee, and we're just now talking about. So first off, Navy SEALs, like their training is so extensive and so intense. I didn't realize it was as long as it is. And so during the last week of Hell Week, Perry is telling us that he had a significant nerve injury, and we're gonna take it from there. Perry, still with us?
I am.
Rock and roll, brother.
So yeah, so I'll try to pick it up there. So yeah, right in the middle of my first Hell Week that I was in, got nerve damage, lost complete feeling in movement in my left arm for about 3.5 months. And because of that, I mean, I was actually very surprised that they kept me around. So they were able to see how long I could stick it out. And so the cool thing was they placed me into the NDOC office with the instructors, basically just being an office guy until I recovered. So it was actually kind of fun. I got to know some of the instructors on a more personal level, and
so you get to get enrichment and exposure to how things operate like that.
Yeah,
nice.
It was actually quite a bit of fun. But so once I started healing back up, I got placed in class 261. So I went from 259. I skipped over 260 because I was still injured, and so they had me class up with the 261. And so because I was right in the middle of Hell Week, I had to start all the way over at the very beginning. Week 1, day 1. And so, and also, if you're not familiar, so BUDS is broken up into 4 different phases, really. There's NDOC, which is 3 weeks, then there's first phase, second phase, third phase. Hell Week is the 4th week of first phase, so it's about the 7th week into BUDS.
Tell us, why do they call it Hell Week? I have a pretty darn good idea, but tell me why.
So Hell Week is a Sunday to Friday evolution where it's nonstop, constant, getting your ass handed to you. Where you go all day, you don't sleep, you don't even get your first. You get an hour of sleep on Wednesday and an hour on Thursday if you can make it that far. Wow. But it's 5 days straight of doing everything that you have been learning in BUDS. So the IBS with the inflatable boats, you're doing races, you run everywhere with the boats on your head. You're doing log PT, you're doing berm sprints, you're doing surf torture. I mean, everything and anything is all thrown at you within these 5 days. And it's just, who can stick it out? I mean, it's a gut check. It's just straight up. Really, that's when you lose a lot of the class the weeks prior, and then Hell Week is there to weed out the rest.
I was just going to say something very similar. Yeah.
Is the rest of BUDS? Is there a lot of sleep deprivation and starvation going on for you guys? And then what is the scheduling like throughout BUDS? Is it a 24-hour-a-day thing, or how does that work?
So after Hell Week is when they actually start focusing on training you in the skill sets that you're going to need to know, going into the SEAL team. So after Hell Week, there isn't really any sleep deprivation or anything like that. It's really geared towards training you. So all of second phase is our dive phase, so where we learn our open circuit rigs or our closed circuit rigs, do all our dives, and then third phase is all your land nav and your land warfare and your weapons training.
Word.
So the weeks are actually not too bad. It's a Monday through Friday, so you actually get weekends off in BUDS, which is very much needed. That's where you can catch up on all your sleep and everything like that. And the days vary. They start depending on the day of the week. That you can start at 04, 4:05, and you really only go till after dinner, unless you have specific night evolutions that you have to do throughout the week. But I mean, it's a full day, but they provide you with enough rest so you can still be functional and be able to get after it the next day.
Do you have any idea how many calories a day is the average troop burning in BUDS?
Oh man, that I don't know. I mean, they do feed you enough, which is great. So that's one thing that you never had to go without was food.
They probably power through more than marathoners.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
in
couldn't
Ranger
tell
School,
you.
5,000 calories a day is pretty typical. No matter how big of a troop you are, you're burning like anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 calories a day every day during Ranger School. So I would assume Bud's has got to be pretty damn close to that.
Yeah, it's probably a lot, pretty similar to that. I couldn't give you a number though.
Wow.
Did you guys notice significant weight loss throughout the training?
Me, probably not too much. So I went into boot camp at about 180, and I'm 5'8", so I'm not a big guy, and I left boot camp at like 145.
Wow.
So I lost a lot of weight, lost a lot of muscle. I was a lot smaller. During Buzz, I floated around 155. Probably the whole time. I didn't see really any fluctuation or anything like that. And then now, after I'm out, I'm probably about 30 pounds heavier than when I was in.
Your body's just absorbing everything at this point, huh?
So now, after training, when you're done training, you go into your regular unit and whatnot. I would imagine the unit that you were attached to is relatively unique, and I know that there's some OPSEC stuff that we simply cannot talk about. But how, in your experience, it was getting to your real unit and deploying, if you happen to know, in relation to, like, for instance, Big Army. My military career was a lot different than Justin's because he was on special unit type teams and I was on, I was in a big medical brigade.
So yeah, when I graduated SQT, I got attached to SEAL Team 7, which is out here in San Diego, and so the way the platoon cycles go, so each team back then was broken up into 6 different platoons, and each platoon had roughly about 25 guys in it. And then you're usually attached with another platoon, so you and your sister platoon were part of a task unit. So the task unit was, around 50 people. So upon checking in, man, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Right. So how it works is you have an 18-month training cycle, and then you have your 6-month deployment, and that's the makeup of your full 2-year cycle with your platoon.
Oh wow.
So once you're done with your 2 years, you do another 2 with the same platoon. You'll get different leadership. You'll get a batch of new guys, and then after your 4 years, so your 2 full platoons, I think this is when most guys go through their shore duty. So they'll go to some type of training detachment or something.
Right.
And every not so often, but there are guys that are able to stay for a 3rd platoon in a row, and before they have to transition out. But so yeah, you got your 18-month cycle of training, and that's broken up into 3 different parts as well. So the first part is your pro dev, where you're going to all different schools, getting all your different qualifications, and you're really on your own. I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with my platoon because you're out of state all the time, going to different schools, and then when you're back in town, the rest of the people are gone. So you don't have a super whole lot of interaction with your platoon. You will with your leadership and everything, but as a whole, you don't do anything together.
Oh, interesting. How big is your platoon?
About 25 guys.
No kidding.
Roughly.
Right.
Which I think has grown since, just with the amount of people that are going through the pipeline now. From what I hear, Bud's classes are close to 300 kids per class.
Wow.
But so the second part of your next 6-month block is when you do all your platoon training. So you go through your land warfare together. You go through your diving, your land nav, your MAROPS, your mobility. Everything that you need to know as a platoon. Where you establish all your SOPs, and you get to really work hand in hand with all your guys and be able to that's where you really learn everything about each other and how you operate and I guess get your harmony going.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last 6-month cycle before deployment is for us, it was a little added on training here and there. You'll do some specialty schools. We actually were able to get a good amount of downtime to spend with your family and stuff before you get ready to ship out.
Totally.
And then you have your 6-month deployment, and then you come back and start the cycle over.
Did you ever get a chance to do scuba? Any type of scuba training, scuba school?
So we only did about, I think, 2 weeks of open circuit training in BUDS. And then you move to the closed circuit Draeger rigs and do all your dives with that. But as far as any open circuit, we really didn't do a whole lot of that. You do it for your dive quals, and that's basically it.
What is the closest you ever came to being drowned during your training? Because in Army scuba, they would tell us that if you get a scuba slot, we're going to try our best to drown you, and you have to remain calm. They're saying you have to show that you can remain calm in a drowning type situation.
Holy crap!
Was there any of that for you guys?
Yes. So for us, there's our pool comp, which is I think there's your 3rd or 4th week into 2nd phase. And so what? No, actually, I think it's a little earlier than that, but it's towards the beginning of 2nd phase. And what that is you're in the pool, and you have the pool, the giant Olympic-sized pool. It's got the 3-foot section that dips down to the 9, that dips down to the 15-foot. So you're literally in the 9-foot section on your hands and knees in the water. You got your tank on, you got your weight belt on, and you're paired up with an instructor. And
panicking.
once they say go, and there's 2 cones set up, and once they give you the okay, you literally on your hands and knees just start crawling from cone to cone, and you just wait for the instructor to come, and they come down, they rip off your mask, they pull out your hoses, they tie your hoses. They tie your hoses in knots and then slam you on the ground a couple times and then kind of give you a push. And it's, in leading up to this, you go through all these, you have to learn all the proper procedures, how to get your hoses untied, how to get them cleared, how to, So, and the funny thing is you don't know how long you're going to be underwater. And for me, it's because you untie your knots, you give the okay that you're good to go, and then you just start your crawling again, and then they'll hit you again. So
oh my god,
you really you have no idea. Like for me, I was under there for about 19 minutes, and we had guys in our classes that were on there for almost an hour.
Wow.
The instructors either like to screw with them
just
or
getting freaking hijacked over and over and over again. Oh my god!
How most people would freak out in a situation like that. So what did you do to keep yourself calm for 19 minutes under the water while they were trying to suffocate you?
Honestly, you just gotta trust that, they're not gonna let you drown. They're not gonna let you die. And you really just gotta relax and keep your composure. It's tough. I mean, I was petrified of it. I mean, I hear about it from all the other students leading up to it, and but they do a lot of preparation the weeks before. So you trust the training. You know what I mean? You just make sure you do everything by the book, and I mean, that's this whole process is to make sure that you can function under pressure and function in a super uncomfortable environment.
That makes perfect sense. Like my anxiety is coming down now because I'm getting back into it and realizing, like, yes, they prepare you for this kind of thing. You get training, and like you are the subject matter expert at your own survival. Okay, I feel better now.
Are they? But okay, so in Ranger School, they would actually threaten to rip off our heads and stuff like that. So at some point, like minute 15 under the water, I'm sure you've got to be wondering, like, are they going to let me die? I know you're trying not to go there mentally, right? Because you've got to make it 20 minutes or more under the water. But it must have been tough. Because I know for me, like drowning is probably one of my bigger fears, and that's why I chose Rangers. I'm like, I'd rather jump out of an airplane than, have to do ocean ops. It must have taken just a ton of focus to stay on the positive note under the water like that.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong, it was absolutely terrifying the entire time. But so for pool comp in general, and specifically, they want you to make sure that you don't pass out. So if there's any point in time where you are absolutely running out of air, you can't get your knot undone or anything like that, you have a procedure on how you take off your tanks. You lay them on the pool deck, you put your weight belt over them, and then you request to go up, and then the instructor will take you up at whatever rate you need to go to make sure you don't destroy your brain or anything.
Right.
But and then there's other times, like towards the you have to do the 50-meter underwater swim as well in first phase, and that's when you get a lot of guys passing out, because for that evolution, they would rather see you hold your breath until you pass out instead of come to the surface.
Huh.
So so it's if you didn't make it the 50 meters but ended up passing out and you were at least a good amount of the way back, you'd probably pass. They'd probably pass you because you went as far as you could until you couldn't go any further.
And that one sounds
so
like
once
determination and discipline.
Yeah, exactly. And then once you get the pool comp, they're specifically like this isn't a gut check. You're not here to hold your breath as long as you can and pass out. Like they want to make sure that you can sink under there and you're able to function. And
nice.
So it's two different scenarios. But so people you have people come more close to drowning during the underwater breath hold than you do pool comp.
Well, we're getting ready to take a commercial break in just a few minutes, and when we get back, I mean, there's so many things that I want to talk about, but with the last section, I really think that we should focus on Active Valor, because Active Valor is your organization, and leading into it, I would like to ask, what led you to start this organization? I know that you guys are doing like care packages, stuff with canines, and the survival training for the kids, I think is phenomenal. I love it. So,
yeah, we'll talk a lot about that. We're super excited about that. So
perfect.
Looking forward to it.
We'll take a quick commercial break and we'll jump right back into it. This is the Veterans Take Charge radio show online with Navy SEAL Perry Yee, who is in charge of Active Valor. Everybody should go scope out activevalor.org. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Dave Michaels here to let you know that our next webinar with pharmacist Ben Fuchs will be Monday, August 21st at 6:30 p.m., 6935 Camino Arroyo in Gilroy, California. We'll also have CDs, books, DVDs, catalogs, appetizers, and drinks. Plus, we'll have exclusive materials for new enrollees. We'll even have free materials for everyone to take home. Monday, August 21st, 6:30 p.m., 6935 Camino Arroyo in Gilroy, California. Be sure to reserve your tickets, 1-800-910-1196. That's 1-800-910-1196, or email dm@ksco.com. You can also text 831-218-5726. That's 831-218-KSCO. Call, text, or email, but be sure to make your reservations for the next webinar with pharmacist Ben Fuchs happening Monday, August 21st, 6:30 p.m. in Gilroy. This will be happening on the same day as the eclipse, so you cannot forget it. That's Monday, August 21st, 6:30 p.m. in Gilroy.
If you love cats, if you love dogs, or horses, pigs, birds or frogs, there's a lot of ways to help if you're sincere. With a little bit of money, or you can volunteer. You'll save a life when you adopt. You're just getting started. Please don't stop. Right here on the Monterey Bay, you can save some critters with the SPCAs. Open up your home, donate a car, or pull some bucks from your small change jar. Give a little love, share a little time, save a little life, gain peace of mind. All the SPCAs of Monterey Bay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, veterans of all generations, welcome back to the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. Man, I should be a ringside announcer. So, Perry,
Ding, ding, ding.
what were some of the reasons why you got out of the military, and how and when did that lead you to active valor?
So I got out in 2011. So I did 6 years active. I actually struggled with a lot of issues when I was towards the end of my military career, with a lot of depression, I battled deeply with thoughts of suicide, a lot of issues that I think many other people have had, mostly on the outside of the military.
Thank you for being honest, man. I think that really it means a lot to everybody listening. It's very real.
It's something that I didn't normally like to talk about, but and it was brought to my attention not too long ago that being able to talk about it is actually what helps other people going through the same struggles. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
And hearing other people, voice their struggles and their issues, and actually to be able to relate and also know that there's ways to overcome it and there's ways to battle it, and that's basically what led to Active Valor. So when I got out, I had I made a huge mistake of not really having a plan. I was like, I'm going to do the GI Bill. I'm going to go back to school, get a degree, and figure it out along the way. I should have a decent enough resume to be able to get whatever job I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I got out and I went back to school for about 10 or 11 months.
Did you continue with criminal justice?
I didn't actually. So there's a lot of general ed stuff that I started trying to finish, and at that point in time, it wasn't something that I was super interested in. So I didn't have a major.
Yeah, I totally hear that.
So there, already off to a bad start because I didn't really have a direction. And so for about 3 years, I ended up working 4 different jobs, like going from one to another, because I just could not find something that I enjoyed. There's nothing, coming from the SEAL teams to being a civilian, and in my mind saying like, wow, I was doing something amazing, serving my country, and now I'm a nobody.
Do you talk about culture shock?
For real. And
huge op-tempo change.
There's in my opinion, and things could be better now. This was 6 years ago when I got out, but transitioning out of the military, you're not given a whole lot of assistance. You go through a 5-day course of them, trying to. The one thing that they were good at was connecting me with school and how to use my GI Bill, but there's so many things that they didn't prepare me for, which is, living without structure, living without responsibility. Fortunately, I had my own home. I knew how to budget myself a little bit, but you're also leaving a steady paycheck. You're leaving, your brothers behind. You're leaving camaraderie. There's so many things that you really don't take into consideration.
Right.
That you're going to be missing out on the outside. And so, yeah, I bounced around from job to job and just could not find anything fulfilling. And so about what really helped me, and this was awesome to hear Mr. Peterson talking about too, is was using my faith, and I ended up finding God, which was what really turned my life around. And once I really started living for more than myself, because I was very selfish. All my thoughts were, how am I going to survive? How am I going to get by? How am I going to get my next paycheck? Everything was about me. And until I started focusing my energy towards giving back to other people and not really paying attention to my own struggles and issues, was when I actually started healing my struggles and issues. once I stopped taking all the medication that the VA was throwing at me, and just doing more for my community was the greatest gift that I could have received.
It's like healing through action. Healing through action, working in your faith. This opens up a whole can of worms regarding Faith Works Ministry and Greg Amundsen and some amazing things. So it's good to know that independently you came up with that, and there's other people that are also independently coming up with that same thing. You work for other people with other people in mind, and the healing. It's like it happens, and it's a beautiful thing because of its origination and what it's born out of. It's awesome.
Exactly. I mean, and that's what, if you think about it, that's what gives you the satisfaction when you're in the military, is you're serving your country, and that's what you're doing. You're serving. And that's the big drive behind Active Valor. So we started last year. We started last summer putting everything together and figuring out what direction we were going to go in. And so we launched in October of last year.
Nice.
And so our main mission is to be able to give veterans opportunities in different ways of serving their country now that they're out of the military. And by doing that, we're hoping to combat the physical, the mental, the emotional roadblocks that a lot, not all, but a lot of veterans face when, after that they get out of the military.
Absolutely.
And so we created a whole bunch of different programs to try to tackle each issue individually. And we're extremely excited for what we have going on. I mean, we've been crazy busy lately. We have a whole bunch of things going on at once. And for as busy as we are and as stressful as it can get, it is extremely rewarding. I mean, it's extremely emotionally and physically satisfying to see the impact that we're making in the lives of others and being able to assist them on creating an impact of their own. And ultimately, that's what we want to do, is to give these veterans the opportunity, but also to show them that they can do it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many people in this country that are in need of their skill sets. Like just because you don't wear the uniform anymore, doesn't mean that your job is done.
Mm-hmm. It's like you're regrouping, You come back, you regroup, you tighten the shot group, you reinvigorate those skills, reinvigorate that camaraderie, reinvigorate the mission.
Exactly.
That's something that has come up in conversation a good solid handful of times, is that when we get out of the military, all of a sudden that mission is no longer clear and present. A lot of us, somebody recently told me this, Carolyn Smith recently told me this individual who we were talking about needs to find a new mission, and what you're doing is great, because you're helping people find that mission.
And once you do, I'll tell you, man, the toll that it takes is phenomenal. The reactions that we have gotten and the success that we have seen in our very short time of operating has been amazing. And so a couple of things that we do. So the main goal, I guess, or the main vision that we had with Active Valor is an event series which we call Valor Adventures.
Yes.
And what that is it's so much fun. What this is we're looking to do about 4 or 5 events per year, where we pair a veteran mentor with a family that's in need of a different demographic. For instance, so what you were talking about at the beginning of the show, we have a big one coming up in September 23rd. And what we're doing is we're pairing up a veteran mentor with a child of a fallen hero.
A Gold Star child?
So, yeah, so exactly. So for those who aren't familiar with Gold Star families, there's families of fallen heroes and all the surviving members. And so we're pairing up a veteran mentor with the kid. We're going out to Warner Springs, and we're having a day of just having fun, having mentorship and fellowship. And what they're going to do is they're going to put the kids through a small little land navigation course, and all the pairs are going to break off and do an adventure hike, which leads to a mission-based treasure hunt. And then come back, have lunch, be able to spend time with their mentor, but we want to be able to build relationships as well. You know, we don't want this to end at the end of the day. We want to make sure that we open those connections between the vet and the family. You know, for them, and they have an opportunity to serve a family in need, someone that has gone through great tragedy, and really put their struggles aside and see what it's like to give back to somebody else. And for the kid, they have the opportunity to spend a day with somebody who has served this country and spend a day with somebody who has walked in the shoes of the loved one that they lost. So, you know, we're greatly looking forward to this, and we're looking to do many more of these. So that was the big vision behind Active Valor.
Man, that vision is so freaking amazing. It's so important. I mean, the first off, I mean, the fact that you guys are giving service and attention and fellowship with Gold Star families, that in itself is amazingly huge. And the actual where the rubber meets the road and getting to go and have all this fun is it's just even better. But really what gives me chills is the mentorship behind it. You know, pairing a child with a veteran is and again with the intention of building a relationship is so extremely huge. Man, I wish you were right here so I can give you a high five.
Air five. Gotcha.
Air five. Bam. So we've only got a few more minutes, and I know that you're doing a whole bunch more with Active Valor. What are the kind of programs do you guys have that are pretty prominent?
I'll try to run through pretty quick. So with Valor Adventures, we're looking to really combat the emotional side of the hardships that the veterans face. On the mental side, that we have. So one of the biggest things that saved me when I left the military was I got a dog.
Nice.
And I'll tell you what, like probably the best decision I ever made in my entire life.
Yes.
So I had my little puppy. I got myself a little Siberian Husky. He was 7 weeks old when I got him. So he's almost 7 years now. But so we started a canine outreach, and what that is we offer free behavioral training to any veteran with a dog or without a dog.
Really?
Meaning, if there's any veterans out there that are interested in getting a dog, they can come to us. Our trainer will sit down with them, figure out which breed is best for the lifestyle, get them connected with a shelter so that they can actually start coming to the program. And we meet twice a month down here in San Diego. Our trainer, a good friend of mine, John Devine, he's a former SEAL as well. He was a canine handler in the SEAL teams. He owns Divine Canines, and he trains personal protection dogs for families. He does integration with military and law enforcement. A lot of great things. He's really amazing in his craft. So he actually donates his time to the vets and gives free training. And it's great because, they get to learn some awesome skills. They get to learn some, get their behavior under control. They get to learn some tricks. They get to learn a whole lot of things. But the underlying focus is they have an opportunity to be around other veterans. They're out of their homes. They're out in the environment. They're outside enjoying the sun. They're getting to meet other veterans as well. And what better way to do that with other than like having your dogs around and be able to be. It's such a great. We had our meetup this morning, and it was actually our biggest one yet. I think we had about about 12 or 13 dogs there, and a whole bunch of, and it's all family friendly, so the vets can come with their spouses, their kids, their dogs, and it's just a way for them to get connected again.
Yes. And
so, like we were just discussing, when you in the military, you really rely on the people around you. You rely on that camaraderie and that brotherhood, and not a lot of people have that on the outside, and they seclude themselves. I did it, and many others do it. So we wanted a way to build a community of veterans and to be able to introduce them to new people, to network, and to just have a great time and leave their struggles at home and to come out and just really enjoy the day. So that's something that we do twice a month, and like I said, we had one this morning, and it was phenomenal. So it's been we've seen a lot of success. It's open to all veterans. Plus, we also offer it to all active duty military that's within their last 6 months of service. So if they're currently transitioning, we'd like to offer it to them so that we can help combat these things before the issues happen. We want to be able to help start them in the process of transitioning.
Oh, that's huge.
Especially if they have dogs. So And then it's also open to all immediate family members of fallen soldiers as
You know
well.
what I really like about that? There's overlap between active duty service and then getting into the civilian sector. Like a lot of the transitional assistance that we've seen is something that's available once the person, in this case the veteran, is already out of service.
It's already correct, right?
With the overlap, that's absolutely brilliant.
If we can do anything up front before struggles start to happen, that's a huge win. And then that's definitely one thing that we wanted to make sure that we did for these
straight
men and
up.
women.
Absolutely. Well, hey man, throw out some contact information. Throw out some ways that people, the audience, can get more information. I know that we've got activevalor.org, but where else can people find you and find your organization?
Absolutely. Yeah. So like you just said, you can get all the information on everything that we offer, all the different services on activevalor.com.org. Doesn't matter. It all goes to the same spot. We still need a lot of help with our Valor Adventures. But like I said, we're trying to do about 5 events per year, and we actually have a GoFundMe started. It's GoFundMe.com/Valor Adventures, and people can donate. And absolutely anything helps. And it's all going towards a great cause. It's going to serve our veterans. It's going to serve our Gold Star families. We're also, we're on Facebook at Active Valor, on Instagram, on Twitter. And that's on YouTube as well. So our co-founder, who just happens to be my amazing girlfriend, is wonderful in the graphics world. So everything that you see that we produce, as far as our website, all our videos, our photos, our flyers, everything comes from her. And she's done us a huge service, and she has an absolutely huge heart for this community as well. So it's been amazing because we get to work on this together and actually grow our passion together, which has been phenomenal.
Man, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. That is awesome. Well, Perry, once again, man, I want to thank you very much for being here on the Veterans Take Charge radio show. I look forward to working together more. We're definitely going to be keeping in contact.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for having me on. And I'll definitely make it up there next time. I would love to spend a lot more time talking to you guys and getting a chance to, share our stories.
Heck yeah.
On and off the radio.
Straight up, brother, straight up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, next week we've got Marine Corps veteran and warfighter instructor. He's working over at the Warfighter Academy. Wayne Wilson. It's going to be freaking
Wilson,
rad.
a good friend of mine.
Oh, outstanding.
Tune in. Yeah, a good friend of mine. Tune in, everybody.
That's what's up. Yo, Veterans Take Charge radio show. We'll be back next week. Proud and steadfast, folks.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
CBS News, I'm Pam Coulter. President Trump will speak to the nation in prime time tomorrow night to unveil his new strategy in Afghanistan. Michael Singh with the Washington Institute for Near East Policy says policymakers should consider Afghanistan a security mission, not a war to be won.
There's plenty of enemies in Afghanistan. You have ISIS there. You have other terrorist groups. But the real recipe for solving that problem in the long term is by supporting the government, by helping to create a stable, functioning government.
CBS News has learned the strategy includes the deployment of 4,000 more U.S. troops. CBS News military consultant Jeff McCausland.
It has to be explained in terms of exactly what these 4,000 troops are going to do. Is there going to be a more concerted effort to put U.S. ground combat troops in key areas to conduct combat or to conduct special operations attacks?
There's been another collision involving a U.S. Navy ship. The U.S. 7th Fleet says the guided missile destroyer USS John S. McCain collided with an oil tanker east of the Straits of Malacca in Singapore. The ship is heading into port under its own power. There are no reports of casualties, but the Navy says search and rescue efforts are underway. Jerry Lewis, whose show business career spanned more than 8 decades, has died at 91. CBS's Deborah Rodriguez.
Jerry Lewis was 5 years old when he put on a tuxedo and sang in his parents' vaudeville act. By his teens, he was soloing in the Catskills and in clubs. He'd soon develop a comedy shtick that would keep him busy for decades, playing a hyperactive, overgrown kid. It contrasted well against Dean Martin's cool during the pair's 10-year partnership.
Hello, I'm Jerry Lewis, the new bus boy. I'm Dean Martin, the old waiter.
And being a klutz and a clown proved popular at the box office through the 1960s.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Livingston. Here, let me help you. Oh,
Eventually, Lewis grew too old for such roles, but he never lost his childlike outlook. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Special glasses or pinhole projectors in hand, millions of Americans will be out to watch the rare solar eclipse tomorrow afternoon. Many have staked out spots in a corridor from Oregon to South Carolina. Rudy Rich left Central California to watch it in Salem, Oregon.
Well, we wanted to be here because in a way it's history, I think, and anytime you can witness history firsthand, you should.
Kevin Boylan works at the Oregon Eclipse Camp in Unity, Oregon.
We do have a bunch of tents all set up here. They are pretty spacious. There's quite a few RVs as well. A lot of families, a lot of kids enjoying the sun and making new friends.
Carbondale, Illinois, billing itself as a few miles north of the point of longest duration, 2 minutes and 38 seconds, hopes the eclipse means an $8 million boost to the local economy. This is CBS News.
I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch, where you can get the world's most comfortable sheets for less than half of what you'd pay in the store. Our sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and get softer over time. Even 3 U.S. presidents have Boll & Branch sheets. Try them for 30 nights. If you don't love them, send them back for a full refund. Go to bollandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping with promo code SLEEP. Spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. That's bollandbranch.com, promo code SLEEP.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
It must be, it has to be, with that big sound it's gotta be KSCO.
You're listening to KSCO, serving Aromas, the Carmel Highlands, and Paraiso Springs. You're listening to KSCO, serving King City, Mount Hermon, and Chula.